All right, this video is going to go over 1.6, which is the application of inverses. I'm not going to go too deep into all of these questions, but I am going to kind of walk you through how to get the equations. So they're talking about two people riding their bike, and the way that they're saying how fast they can go is kind of different. So Annie says she rides 12 miles an hour, and then they want you to fill out this table. Well, how far would she go in this many minutes? Well, you need to realize 12 miles per hour is 12 miles per every 60 minutes because there's 60 minutes in an hour. So if you wanted to see how far in 1 minute, you would divide by 60 and times by 1. For 2 minutes, you would divide by 60 and times by 2. So that's how I'm going to get these numbers. All right, it's going to be 12 over 60 times the amount of time, t. So that's how I'm getting 0.2 or 1 or 2. That's how I'm getting these numbers. I'm plugging in this value right here and then timesing by 12, dividing by 60. All right, so when you do all this, you're going to get these numbers 4, 6, and 12. And then this one is 12. That's just my equation, 12 times the time divided by 60. So they want you to plot this on the graph here, but there's no axis, right? You kind of have to make your own. So my x is time and my y is distance. And so for the x's, it has to go all the way up to 60. So I'm going to go by like each tick mark is a 5. So it's like 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. This is my x, my time. And then the y-axis is going to be your distance. And I only have to go up to 12 there, so I'm just going to go by ones, like 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so on. Okay, so when you graph this, it's going to look something like this. And it basically just looks like y equals x. This one in particular does. Now, the next person says, I don't do it in terms of miles per hour, but I can tell you, I can ride my bike. I think it says you can ride 1 mile in 5 minutes. Yeah, here it is. Sorry, couldn't find it. 5-minute mile. So each mile, you're just timesing by 5 to get the time. So it's just 5 times the distance. So if you want, I'm taking this number, plugging it in, and then it's getting the output. So that's how I'm getting these numbers of 5, 10, 20, 25, 30, and 60. So it's just 5 times distance. Okay, and then this graph is going to be kind of opposite or inverse of that blue graph, because now my x-axis is distance. So it's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, because I only have to go up to 12. This is distance. And then this one's going to be time, the y-axis. So I'm still going to go by 5s there. Okay, and then you can plot this. So like 1, 5, 2, 10, 4, 20, 6, 30, and it'll be basically the same looking line. Now, they want you to write equations for this. Well, that is the equation, 5 times d, or in the first one, it's just 12t over 60. So f of time is 12 times time divided by 60. There's your first equation. And then this one was function of distance is just 5 times your distance, like that. Okay, so that's going to help you answer these questions. How far does Annie travel in 25 minutes? Well, that's a time, and you're plugging it in for t here. So it'd be 12 times 25 divided by 60, which is just going to be 5 miles. And then they want you to do the same thing for Sam for 25 minutes. Well, in 25 minutes, he was able to ride 5 miles. So it's the same thing, 5 miles. So they have the same pace. All right, now the last thing that I want to show you is on this next page. They want you to find number 10, find the inverse of Annie's pace, or the inverse of that equation. So her equation was, or function of time, sorry, hold on. Function of time was 12 times the distance divided by 60. Nope, 12 times time, sorry. Okay, now they want the inverse of this. So we learned we switched the x and y. So imagine this is really like the letter of x because it's your input, and this is really like your letter y because it's your output. So go ahead and switch those. Now you got x equals 12y over 60, like that. Okay, now you need to go solve for y. So you're going to times by 60. So negative 60x equals 12y. And then you're going to divide by 12. And so you get y prime is 5x, which is the same equation that the second person used over here. All right, so now they want you to prove that those are inverses of each other. So we had the first one, I'll just use x's and y's, 12x over 60. And the second one was 5x. And they want you to prove that these are inverses of each other using composition. So take one of your equations, plug it in for the letter x of the other one. So it'd look like this. Y equals 12 times, just change that x to be a 5x. Okay, now you're just going to solve it out. So 12 times 5 is 60. Now you got 60 over 60, which is going to reduce. You end up with y equals x. So that's how you prove that they are inverses using composition. Hope this video helped.